hi to everyone. We met again this week in Hi-Fi Program Show to discover a new hidden world of biology in our daily life. Before we starting, do you ever heard the name of Hi-Fi Group 4 before? I'm sure you did, since this group have become a phenomenon and also have become a great talk among us. This is because they conducted a various of studies and also experiments which discovered a new things that we never know before. Before we dig in deeper into this topic, let me introduce to the four intelligence members of this group. Firstly, we have Mr. AFIQ, who in charge as a leader in this group. How are you, Mr. AFIQ? Can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Hello, my name is MOHD AFIQ bin ZULLMUKHRY, and I am a doctor in the field of microbiology.
Then we have Miss DANIA, Miss FARAHIN, and Miss FATIN. Welcome to the show. Before we going further into this topic more, let me briefly explain to you what is alcohol. I'm sure everyone, the audience at home, are familiar with the name of alcohol, also known as liquor. However, actually, alcohol is a type of an organic chemistry compound that exists in our daily life. And the one that we are familiar with is alcoholic beverages. However, actually, alcohol can be categorized by its use, which is ethyl, denatured alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and also isopropyl. Each of them have a different use in our daily life, but the one that we frequently use is the ethyl, which also known as ethanol. This ethanol is the only alcohol that are not poisonous and also used as beverages and also in the cooking. Meanwhile, the other three is used for other purpose and also hazardous to anyone. I'm sure everyone also familiar with the consequences when we consume the alcohol in a large amount or in a long period. Mostly, we used to know that this alcohol only has the cons, but actually we can use it in other way, would also can bring us benefits to it. So today we are going to discover what are those benefits that we can use by using the beverage alcoholic. Therefore, I would like to ask for Mr. AFIQ for a simple explanation regarding of this topic. So, Mr. AFIQ, we are known that this process involves the use of yeast and also the fruits such as the grapes and also others. Can you explain to us what are the principles of microorganisms involved in this process?
Humans have been consuming alcohol for a very long time. The only type of alcohol that we can consume is ethanol. Ethanol is the only type of alcohol that we can consume in large quantities because of our ability to metabolize it and dispose it from our body. How do we produce this ethanol that we consume in alcoholic beverages? We produce ethanol through a natural process called fermentation by using certain microorganisms like yeast. How do they work actually? Okay, so this is how the principles of microorganisms are involved in this process. Okay, first we must know that cells, microorganisms included, produce energy by metabolizing sugar. This process is called glycolysis. So in glycolysis, sugar is converted into pyruvic acid, and then this pyruvic acid will follow two different pathways based on the conditions, one which is with oxygen and one is without oxygen. Without the presence of oxygen, the pyruvic acid will be processed through the alcohol fermentation pathway. In this pathway, the pyruvic acid will be converted into energy, and the byproduct will be ethanol and carbon dioxide. So this means that basically the ethanol that we use in alcoholic beverages are the byproduct from these microorganisms from the process of creating energy. These microorganisms will then continue to produce energy via this method until they have produced enough alcohol contents in their surroundings that they will not be able to tolerate anymore, and they will die. Most yeasts or even some bacteria strains that are used in producing alcohol can tolerate alcohol content in the range of 10 to 15%. So how do they produce alcoholic beverages with higher alcohol content? To produce higher alcohol content for alcoholic beverage, they will require another process called distillation, where they will separate the water from the main compound. This in turn will create a more concentrated amount of alcohol in beverages. Some manufacturers even have their trade secrets where they keep the recipe for their beverage making, and some even use different strains of yeast and bacteria that can tolerate higher amount of alcohol content. So that is all from me. Thank you.
Wow, it's a very interesting fact for me. I never knew that the yeast involved in this process going through a very complicated process of chemistry behind it. Okay, next we are going to move to Miss Farahin. Miss Farahin, can you explain to us how is the process involved in the production of these alcoholic beverages?
Yes, sure, Miss Amali. First of all, do you guys know that ethyl alcohol, or also we call it is ethanol, is the basic ingredient in order to make alcohol?
No!
No? Now you know. But in order to make alcohol, ethanol, we need to go through a process named fermentation. Fermentation is a process that fermenting a natural source of sugar, such as grains, fruits, and vegetables, with a catalyst that we usually use yeast. As it ferments, the yeast or bacteria will react with carbohydrates, which is starch and sugar, in the main source and turn in carbon dioxide and ethanol as their byproduct. After that, in order to make a beer, we need to ferment grains such as wheat and barley, and it is often flavored with hops. Hops is an acid that contribute to stabilize the foam qualities of beer. The flavors of hops are described as grassy, floral, citrus, spicy, lemony, and earthy. When the sugar and grain have been melted and brewed in a certain time, the grains and other elements are added for coloring, flavor, and transparency. Then, we need to go through distillation process to create a whiskey. Whiskey and beer have the same ingredient, but in favor of whiskey, some of the water in the beer need to be removed by heating it up until it becomes gas and cooling it down to make it as liquid again. The concentrated of alcohol remain are called as whiskey. Next is wine. Wine is a product of the fermenting fruits such as grapes, plums, watermelons, and sometimes we also use vegetable. Lastly is distilled spirits, but we also call it liquor. Liquor can be made by the widest variety of ingredients. This includes fermented potato for vodka, rum for molasses, sugarcane juice for cachaça, extracted juice for tequila, and also corn for spirits. That's all. Thank you.
Wow, it is such an interesting fact. I never knew that we can use vegetables in the production of alcoholic beverages before. So I think it's a very good information for me. Okay, next we're moving to Miss Dania. Miss Dania, can you explain to us what are the other application of alcohol that we can use in our daily life instead of using it as beverages and also for the cooking?
Thank you, AMALIN. I'm Dania IRDEENA and I will be talking about the application of alcoholic beverage. Alcoholic beverage is more than just a drink. Do you know that its strong smell has the ability to kill bacteria? Yes, that is why we can use it as a sterilizer. Amazing, right? Next, it is useful when we go camping because by pouring it on our campfire, it will immediately spark fire. Easy because we don't have to struggle by ourselves to set up the fire. Next, we can spray vodka on stains too and it will be clean after wiping it. Also, you can stir a little bit of vodka into your hair conditioner to make sure your hair is frizz-free and it can fight against dandruff. Don't you think it's incredible? Also, I just found out that liquor can remove the rusty part in your engine. Last but not least, vodka can neutralize odor. Just spray a bit of it on your sneakers and bacteria will be eliminated. And then, your sneaker is now odorless. Thank you.
Wow, once again I'm impressed. I never thought that we can use alcoholic beverages in those things that we can use to ease our life. So I'm going to try it later. Before we end our program today, I would like to ask for Miss Fatin. Can you give us any special information or anything additional about the use of alcohol in our daily life? Maybe you can talk to us about the pros and the cons.
Hi, my name is SHAHIRA binti SHAMSULAILI. Today I want to share about effect of alcohol. Alcohol contain ethanol, which is the main alcohol. As we know, ethanol is a drug that will become addictive if taken in large amount for every day. The most notable effect of alcohol is that it will intoxicate the consumer. Thus, this can eliminate the coordination of the body movement. Intoxicating situation will harm to others. For example, driving under the influence of alcohol has a high percentage of accidents. Alcohol beverage will also affect the health of the body. Initially, a person who consumes alcohol in large quantity will lose weight. It will spread to human organs such as liver failure, heart damage, and oropharyngeal canal, which is mouth and throat cancer. This effect is a long-term effect, and this problem can be controlled by stopping or consuming in small amount of beverage. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Fatih, for your explanation. It is a nice sharing for me. And thank you to all of you for willingly to participate in our show today. It is a great pleasure to have you despite of your packed time and also your limited schedule. So it is a great pleasure for us to have you today. Thank you so much.
Also a great pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you, Miss Amalin, for inviting us. It's a pleasure for us to be here.
Thank you for having us. It is such a great experience to be here.
Thank you.
Today, I hope that all the audience will use all the information from the sharing today as much as possible and as useful as possible in your daily life. We always heard the consequences from the drinking of alcohol, and also we always heard all the bad things about the alcohol, but let's turn the bad things into a better one in many ways, such just like what we have discussed today. So I hope everyone will take responsibilities and please decide for the best for our life. Let's use the alcohol for the better way instead of using it for a wrong way, which always cause the crimes and also cause all the accidents that also which lead to the death and also lead to a bad health. So it depends on you to decide you are going to choose it for use it for a better one, or you're going to still use it and as the usual. So I think that's all for today. Thank you for participating into our show today. Once again to our researchers, and also thank you to all audience. Even though we are far from home, we are not in the same studios, but we still together with through this show. So thank you so much. See you soon on the next week. Bye.